Yo, what's up? What's up? Thank you so much for joining us again for another episode of the Daily Smoke. I'm your boy, Brother Ron.
Brother Los.
Brother Blackhead.
And we are the Daily Smoke. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday afternoon. We're really glad you was able to join us today. So what's going on, my brother?
Not Monday, it's over. Work day is over now.
Another day down.
Now my fun work starts. And
Yeah, man.
You know, Bobby got us all like I'm in an interrogation room up in this bitch.
I know, right?
Did you do it?
I know, right?
This shit is
I
bright
know.
as fuck.
I know,
You
man.
You gotta get used to that shit though.
Shit, you having trillions in
You
the
know.
studio.
It's gonna be real.
Say trillion in
It's
the
gonna be
studio.
then he gets in them spotlights where I'll be sweating because it be hot.
Right there in your face.
Oh man, that's when we're gonna need powder for real. Make
Right,
some powder on
right.
that nigga. That nigga's head is shot.
Oh, willing,
Shit,
right?
you know.
For real.
Hey,
For real.
So I guess we better get used to it now because that's where we're going.
That's exactly where we're going, God willing. We hope we influence enough people where we can get around, man. We really do.
Right.
Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Joyce Horton, for joining us as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. So, how was your day overall, bro?
It was all right. I mean, it's Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't feel like working, but I got through it. I figured it'll go by. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that busy, so we were good.
Yeah.
So that was good. Made the day a little longer, but I'm okay. Shit, I'll try to do some other shit. You know, Mitzi had called me. I was able to get something done for her real quick.
That's what's
And
up.
still be working at the same time.
That's what's up.
You know, I got frustrated once because I had something ready to go. And get a call right in the middle of it, start working with them. Then I came back. All the shit I wrote on the email, I had to rewrite all that shit because it was gone. I'm like,
Lord, thank
man,
y'all.
it's like, you know what? I got to remember when I'm working on something here, turn that phone off. So don't fuck with me till I'm done with this. And then I'll turn the phone back on and shit.
Uh-huh.
There's times you Zoom somebody and you're talking to them, yeah, and all of a sudden, yeah, thank you for calling Travel. Because if you don't click that shit off, the call will come right to you.
Wow.
It don't even ring or nothing. It just boom.
Just right there on
It's like you hear this boop and the person's right there. Hello? You know, shit. A couple of times I don't say shit. I hit that X, like, fuck that. I'm not taking this call right now. Call again. You know, it's like, call again. There's other motherfuckers that will take that call. And, you know, so they're watching this. They know now what I do.
That's
Because I'm not trying to take them calls, especially if I'm in the middle of something. That shit gets you. Like, every time I do it, I lose what I'm doing over here. It's like, fuck. I'm like, I like the two screens, but because this kicks in, it kicks that off. So fuck. You know, that's what messes it up. Other than that, though, I'm good. I'm just saying. It's Monday. That got this first day over. Now let's go from here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got the hard part over with, man.
Right.
Hey, man, let me ask y'all something. You know, like, without giving too much away, how did y'all enjoy the taping on Saturday?
That was pretty good. Both of those shows were good.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up for tomorrow, y'all want to make sure y'all tune into that Taboo Tuesday, and then again for Thursday. Those were really good shows. We recorded them on Saturday, and they got into it pretty deep. So it was good. That the chemistry was there. It was nice.
Good. It was good to see Tiffany back recording with us, and she had LaDonna with her, you know, as a guest. And they had a really, really, I would say, two-part conversation. You know what I mean? But it was really like just they started here and just it was more continuation.
Right.
You know, the first recording. So yes, we are so looking forward to this week's Taboo Tuesday and Long Live the Arts. Thank you so much for coming out and recording with us, y'all.
Sure enough.
Absolutely.
Those were nice. That's gonna be good shows. Those are gonna be two good shows.
Absolutely. What you think about them, Bob?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's what's up. Anything stood out to you during the meeting? I mean, during the talk?
No, it's just the overall thing. I was just happy, like, okay, you go to.
That's what's up.
Then actually seeing, you know, I think it was the article was the Tuesday that where when I saw that chair, like, okay, you're into it. I'm like,
Yeah,
nice,
Yeah,
no,
she gets
She
into
puts
that.
everything into it.
Sure enough.
She puts her everything into
And
it.
then I'm on Friday, matter of fact, I'm gonna try to see if I can put up the video. If y'all didn't go, y'all missed this. I'm gonna put up what when she opened. Well, she actually said she didn't open the show, but her part of that show.
Oh yeah.
So on Friday, for
Yeah.
TGIF, I might put that up. So y'all might want to tune in and listen to what it's about 5 minutes, I think. Listen to her what she said.
Yeah.
What she did at that She Roars thing. She
That was
said it was a
pretty
nice
cool.
show. So
Yeah.
the show was nice. Everything went well. You know, so we'll get a chance to show you that. So tune in Friday.
That's pretty
Supposed
cool.
to tune in anytime, all the time.
Right.
Not just because this is on there.
Right.
You want to tune in every time because the Losi Lolo is there and the Rolo, you know, and the Black Hando. You know, so
Black
make sure y'all tune us in. Or OG Bobby Black Hand.
Boy, I tell you, boy, he rap for, man.
Right.
Well, we know we got to pay some bills, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Our favorite people on the planet, we have Bangin' 832 Radio, www.bangin832.com. Check out all the past episodes of Daily Smoke every Sunday at 7 p.m. So please support Bangin' 832 Radio. They are homegrown. They support home artists or what have you. And hey, man, they're a grassroots organization, so you get the raws of the raw kind of music. You know what I mean? It's the new shit, the cutting edge shit. You know what I mean? They may not be known, but they the next best thing coming.
Right.
So that's what you're listening to at Bangin' 832 Radio. So make sure you go out and support Bangin832.com. And then next up, we have our favorite Tamia's Touch of Care Massage Therapy. To get with life, get a massage.
Touch my body.
That's what I'm talking about. I like that. I'm getting there.
I'm trying to
Getting there. That's what's up. Go to www.tamiaanderson.com. And she also does other things, not just a massage, but I believe she does like Reiki, like energy channeling or what have you.
Personal trainer.
Yeah, personal trainer. So she has multiple, skills and that what have you. So Soldier, exactly. She's a veteran. Thank you so much for your service, my sister. And please support Tamia at Tamia's Touch of Care Massage Therapy, www.tamiaanderson.com.
Touch my body.
We're gonna sing again. Next up, we got the Buy Black Marketplace, the ultimate pop-up experience. We're calling all vendors, all authors, artists, Black-owned businesses. Please come out to the Buy Black Marketplace every first and third Saturday of each month from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's a fun community and family-friendly event featuring food, retail, shopping, entertainment, workshops, and more. And that's at the Shrine of the Black Madonna at 5309 MLK Boulevard. That's here in Houston, Texas. So check them out. Go and support the Buy Black Marketplace. Some of the free classes are like yoga classes, free African history classes, or you can learn about different scents and different spices and foods and you name it. Check it out. The Buy Black Marketplace. The ultimate pop-up experience every first and third Saturday.
Free yoga class?
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I came from, man.
Get that free yoga class.
You got it. Next up, we got Puff Pass at CBD and more at 4130 and a half Cavalcade here in Houston, Texas, 77026. Check out Puff Pass It CBD and more on Instagram. Check them out on Facebook. Look them up on Twitter. They have their own their own website, their own Yelp. There's nowhere you can go where they're not represented. So check out Puff Pass It CBD and more. Contact Miss Tanya Ashley at 713-766-6631. Okay. So thank you, and she's gonna be with us, by the way. She's coming onto the show. Yeah, she's one of our upcoming ones.
Postponed. We're bringing her in.
Yes. It's going to be really cool to finally sit down with her and break bread with her, man, and just have a good time
in our
with
space
her.
and shit.
Exactly. Make sure she feels at home here. She made us feel when we were there. So thank you so much, Tanya.
Might have to have some daiquiris ready to go.
Absolutely. That'll be pimp.
So here you go. We got
that'll be pimp. We already got the top shelf, right?
Right.
Sure, but last but not least, we got thedailysmoke.com. That is us. Please come out and support us on our website, www.thadailysmoke.com. Hey, we have all the upcoming episodes listed. We have what each episode is going to be about. Every Wednesday of each month, we always try to interview someone or something like that, and bring someone new that we can interview, or they can talk about their business or what they think about, what they've done with their lives, or just anything interesting. That's usually what we settle, we have for every Wednesday of each week, okay? So if you're wanting to be on our podcast, please come and check us out at thedailysmoke.com, and that's the with a THA. www.thedailysmoke.com, all right? And also, if you feel inclined to, please donate to us. We have our own Cash App. It's the $TD Smoke. That's if you want to give anything on your heart. So we do appreciate any and all donations. And if you don't have it to donate, we do appreciate you giving us your time. That's really valuable. That's one of the most valuable things you ever have. You can't get that back.
Watch the shows,
so
hit that like and share, and that's enough right there.
Absolutely.
That's a donation enough right there.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for coming out and supporting thedailysmoke.com. We do appreciate y'all. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's Monday.
You ain't never lying.
It's nice and cool. Feels good.
It is nice and
It's
cool.
nice to know because today's first day of spring. So
is it really?
It just started like at 5:54 p.m.
Really?
Yeah, that's when the Earth is in the right position to see it's the vernal.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like earlier. So from here on out, back to the hot shit.
That's
So
what's
enjoy
up.
these little cool days
Yeah,
now. Like
it's
I better
coming.
enjoy this shit now.
We're gonna have to cut a hole
You
in
know,
this.
I'm telling you, I'm like, man, because that shit is coming. It's starting up. And if it was anything like last year, it started in March last year too.
Please donate to the Daily Smoke Cash App because we need an air conditioner. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. We're gonna need an air conditioner. Please take
Although
care
they
of your
say that
baby
El
guests.
Nino brings more rain and shit, and that's supposed to be.
Oh,
good.
Lord.
It was that La Nina that pulled out there. It's out in the, that's the one that brought all that fucking heat.
So we got a lot of
According to
rain coming.
I think that's what they're saying. We're gonna have more rainy days, more wetness. I think that's how they say it goes. But he's not here yet, so who knows? Maybe it's our time for another one of them canes.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Him's not here.
Him's not here yet.
Man,
You know,
Lord
so
have
we got
mercy.
to see. Hopefully, we don't get no of them hurricanes
That
coming
would
through this shit.
suck.
You know, I
I
don't
think
know.
we do for one too.
Right.
When was the last time we had a major hurricane?
What was it, Harvey? But that was just rain.
Really?
It wasn't. Harvey wasn't the one. Those blow everything down. Harvey
Yeah.
was just that rain, but it was still a hurricane.
How long ago was Harvey?
That was been a couple of years now.
Really? We haven't had
That
a
was before-
hurricane in a couple of years?
That was before COVID.
Oh, we finna get hit. Before COVID?
Yeah. 'Cause
Oh, we finna get hit.
imagine Harvey during
It's coming.
COVID. That'd have been fucked up.
Oh,
man. A lot
God.
of people would have got sick. 'Cause
Oh,
we had to
can
come
you
together
imagine?
to help these people.
Can you imagine? That would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, that'd have been crazy. But yeah, so it's been a while.
Wow.
Before that, all I can remember was Ike, because I got hit right around Ike
Mhm.
when Ike hit, and then after that, I don't remember too many other than that. Other than Harvey,
I was happy when
Katrina,
Ike
when
hit.
Katrina hit, but it didn't get to us.
Yeah.
It got to us in a wave of people.
Yeah,
I remember this
yeah.
day, once they got over here, crime went up and everything.
You know what, man? I was in Atlanta when Katrina hit, and I remember like leaving America, coming back, and I went to Atlanta, and I saw signs for vote for Mayor Ray Nagin. And that was the guy that was the black mayor of New Orleans.
Okay,
Ray Nagin, I think that's his name.
so he moved to Atlanta right from there.
Well, come to find out, they had such a huge exodus of individuals from New Orleans, Louisiana, that whole area that got hit, like California, up north, that they started. They had to do if they wanted to vote, they could vote, but most of the voters were in other states. So they started advertising Ray Nagin running for mayor in Portland, Oregon. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Because you had such a huge influx of individuals from that area. So that's how they got around that. I was like, wow, I had never seen that before until that happened, man.
Right, 'cause
Yeah.
it's like, hey, all my people are gone.
Yeah.
I can't hear.
And they're not able to come back home yet. So
How are they going to get to vote?
exactly.
so I'm on.
And he won too, if I'm not mistaken. He won. If I'm not mistaken.
Probably the only one that did that shit.
I know, huh? That was unprecedented,
The
man.
rest were like, you know
That was
what?
different.
You forgot that everybody in New Orleans is gone.
Yeah.
How they gonna vote for you?
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's why he did the right thing. He knew what he was doing.
For real.
At least the main thing is they allowed him to do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't think that could have flew in today's
No, hell no, because
climate.
that would have been they would have talked about all that
Yeah.
shit, because all that mail, it would have been all mail order shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What's crazy about that, I remember when I was younger living in Germany, I remember they always had that absentee ballot thing.
Uh-huh.
It was never a problem. Well, all of a sudden now it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason we did where people could drive off and drop their shit off is because it was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying to make it safe.
Mhm.
So y'all made it like, oh no, this is gonna fuck everything up. They cheated.
Mhm.
That's like, you know what? Y'all changed shit that need to be changed.
Sometimes to discourage some of the voters.
It's like, you know, that's what it does. You know, they're like, we don't want to go. No, there's too many motherfuckers gonna vote for them.
Yeah.
Let's make it
Yeah,
hard.
they're just playing
And
political
that don't make no
games.
damn sense. It's like, look, man, I don't give a fuck. I'm in line. That door can't close until I get up there.
You would think.
You know, I'm already here. They start closing doors down.
You would
It's
think,
like,
man.
like
You
y'all,
would think.
it's like it's always like that coach in them movies that your team is so good, but you gotta cheat. If y'all are the shit, why you gotta cheat?
Hey man, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Let your people vote. If you got enough people out there to vote for you, you so scared. If you wouldn't be so goddamn crooked, maybe people would vote for your
You ain't
ass.
cheating, you ain't trying, dog. Yeah, man. Good God. Man. So thank you also to our guests that's in the audience. Watchers, thank you so much. We celebrate your presence as well. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna have to get one of those signs up here so she'll know when to laugh.
I know, right? Applause. Like, clap.
Right? Oh. So we can,
Oh,
that sound, applause, laughter.
That's funny.
Make it a real goddamn, even more of a studio and shit.
That is funny. That is funny.
Bobby got us all lit up.
Yeah, man.
Give me some makeup and
Good job, man. Good job, Bobby.
I'm gonna have
Good
to
job.
Beijing the beard, get that gray out of there and shit.
Yeah. Well, we broadcasting at 4K plus.
You know what I'm saying? Right? Yeah, hell yeah. So that's what we
Lord have mercy. That's what's up.
I'm gonna have to get this hookah going one day. I'm gonna have to smoke on that, get that motherfucker
Yeah,
going.
man. I like Skittles. I like the Skittles.
Skittles?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Skittles good.
I got all kind of different fruit flavors and stuff like
Do
that.
you?
The one I liked the best was I got one from Michigan one time. It was white gummy bear.
Mm-hmm.
That shit tasted like I had a whole mouthful of gummy
I'm trying to tell you, it tastes good,
Those
doesn't
are
it,
the
man?
pineapple ones.
Man,
that shit was so
it tastes good, doesn't it?
I remember up
Yeah.
there, I tried that shit. My daughter said, "Here, try this hookah." I'm like, "What is it?" White gummy bear. I'm like, "All right." After a while, like,
Trying to tell you.
man, I got like a munchies for some.
Smoked your way to diabetes.
I was like, you know what I'm saying, right? I was like, man, I need to go to the store, give me some gummy bears, like right now. I only want the white ones.
Man.
That shit was good. Yeah, that shit was good. Then you got other flavors, mango, and it
That's
tastes
cool.
like that fruit. It's like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that was always good. I'm gonna have to get that mug going. I forget what flavors I had.
That's what's
That
up.
shit don't never expire.
Well, man, I think now it's better than any to go ahead and just start to look at the information we was gonna cover today during the show. And to be honest with you all, what we're about to cover is about to be so simple that you're gonna be like, why are we having this show? And at the end of it, I'm going to tie it into the question of, is science a method purely, or is it really a system of belief? And the reason that we're having this conversation is so that we can talk about things in everyday layman's terms and understand what we're talking about. And I think that if you kind of just, as we're going through this material, if you just kind of just simplify your thinking as we're going through this material, we're going to make it very relevant. And we're going to make it to a point where you can understand it and then you can see what the conversation really is about.
Right.
When we're talking about science.
I'm glad, because I need that shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That shit.
Do you?
I mean, talk
like,
to me like a second grader.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Adult, what the hell you're talking about?
Yeah.
So,
Brother Mo's on the cool. I tell people all the time, I say, man, I don't care what it is you think you know. I don't care how complex it is, how detailed it is, whatever. If you cannot explain whatever to the point where a 5-year-old can understand it,
Right.
you have no idea what you're talking about.
Right, right.
You have absolutely no idea. I don't care how complex something is. If you cannot break it down to where a 5-year-old can be like, oh, you know what I mean?
Right.
Then no, you don't understand what's going on. You may be smart, but you don't
be able to break it down.
You don't really get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what we hope to do today. So let's just jump straight into it. So on this podcast, we spend a lot of time covering beliefs, but we cover everything in terms of beliefs from, how do you know what you know that you know, and we cover things like belief systems like, this is my religion, or this is my belief system in terms of my sexuality. This is my belief system in terms of, I'm a Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a belief system. whenever you talk about beliefs, you're always talking about something that is really, uh, it's it's more, it's not as hard set. Like it's all, there's always some kind of room for interpretation when it comes to beliefs, and there come different experiences as a result of that belief. Like being a Puerto Rican to you may not mean what being a Puerto Rican means to me. But we both identify as Puerto Ricans, but that's still a belief system. You see what I'm saying? Okay.
And sometimes to hear someone else talk about how they see what you believe, it makes you think differently.
Exactly.
Because it's something you didn't see before.
Exactly.
Like, oh, shit, I never thought of that. Like,
it's subjective.
And it makes sense. Like,
right.
That makes sense. Okay.
Absolutely. It becomes subjective.
Right.
There's a tendency of people that have a problem with that kind of understanding, like understanding beliefs, that subjectivity. They usually default to more objective, scientific ways of thinking and communicating. And this is what I mean. Water is to you what water is to me, what water is to Bobby. If we had a bowl of water in front of us, okay? There is nothing that we have to debate about. This right here, this stuff here.
You know that's water.
This is water, okay? And because that seems to be a piece of reality or a representation with reality, a lot of people find themselves more comfortable with thinking in terms of scientific ways of thinking rather than subjective ways of thinking, like different belief systems. So in other words, that's why the scientist doesn't have a need for God.
Right. Because he sees how it works out.
And it's not that he's even opposed to it. It's just that he does not hold that as a necessity as much as he or she may hold as a necessity in terms of more rigorous, objective ways of thinking, like science. Now, that's why a lot of people are atheists, because they can't touch it.
Right.
They can't grasp it.
Right.
They cannot feel it.
Right.
They cannot measure it. You understand?
Right.
So, and it's almost like they see it as almost like it being like if you will, a fairy tale.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's really what a religion is.
It's more like faith is something I can see and can touch.
You know, like, and if I can't touch it, I'm not gonna throw my life
at something that I don't.
At something I don't. I have no guaranteed outcomes.
Right.
You know what I mean? But science has the outcomes it comes out with. More often than not, they tested all of those different things to get the outcomes.
Right.
You follow me? So with a fair degree of certainty, they can say this outcome is going to happen.
Right.
Case in point. If right now we put water in your stove, right now with the stove off, nothing would happen, right?
As far as I know.
Okay. If we take that same dial and turn it up to 500 degrees, what happens to the water?
The bowl and the water.
In the bowl.
Hot.
Right. What if I pulled that same bowl and put it into a different oven across the street and repeated the same exact situation? What would happen?
That shit's gonna happen.
Exactly. So now you have, as a result of trial and error, we now have a fact. We know 500 degrees with this bowl of water and bowl is melting.
Right. It's gonna get hot.
We know that.
It's gonna boil. That water's gonna.
It's gonna boil. Sure. We don't have to have faith that water's gonna boil. We know that water is gonna boil.
Right.
Okay.
Same thing if you put your hand in that water.
Absolutely.
Your fingers gonna.
Absolutely.
And shit.
Absolutely, brother. So now, that's why the first thing we have to understand is how religion and science fundamentally differ, and then we're going to go more into the the scientific method. The reason science and religion fundamentally are not in agreement, if you will, insofar as the Western world is concerned, like that's us, is because religion, at the end of the day, does not have to test whatever it is they believe.
No, because that's what they believe.
We just believe it.
Just the same as we believe or we know that water's gonna get hot.
Exactly.
So to them, they know that if you're telling me that's what happened, that's what's gonna happen.
So explain.
You know, I'm just saying if this is how it's supposed to be, how I'm in whatever religion I'm thinking of, that's you're telling me how things are, then I'm going to believe that that's how things are.
Okay, and then you have right fundamentally. That's right.
Right.
That's right. Fundamentally, that's exactly right. So you wouldn't necessarily have to put to the test outside of the respective religion. You wouldn't necessarily have to put to the test that there was a god named Shiva that once lived,
Right.
or that there was a man named Buddha that ascended. You would not have to test that.
Right.
Because there is no need, and that you would not even have to test whether or not. I mean, Buddhists aren't even, impressed by miracles at all. Like they see a miracle as being Buddhist. They see that as being like now you're trying to test the belief area. You know what I mean, with miracles and stuff. But they don't have a need to test anything they believe to validate anything they believe. So I believe it on full faith.
Right.
That's what it is at the end of the day.
That's what it is.
And it doesn't, and whether it's a religion or whether it's, a lot of people now, they're not traditionalists, if you will, but, there's no real need to prove that there is a God, if you will. Okay. That's where they stop. That's it. That's the end of their conversation. Where, see, that's where they differ with science.
Right.
Science, in order for something to be true, I have to be able to prove what I'm claiming to be true. Now, notice the person in religion doesn't have to meet that qualification.
Because there's other people around me that we think the same. So I don't have
They don't have to prove anything.
We don't have to prove nothing to each other.
Don't have to prove nothing.
Right.
Now, within their own religion, they may have some of that stuff going on. Like, okay, well, you're supposed to behave a certain way or think a certain way or do certain things or whatever, but that's still within the confines of that religion.
Right.
When it comes to testing whether this is valid or not, let's say like whatever we're talking about, we have to test it and repeat the process.
Right.
And after we repeat the process,
I'm going to test it.
Exactly.
And then Bobby going to test
Bobby
it.
Gonna test
all going to test
the
it.
man across the street going to test it. We
Right,
just used
right.
the same example regarding the oven, right?
Right.
Okay, so let me stop for 1 second. I know it seems like I'm rambling, but am I making sense?
So far.
Okay, all right. Here's why I find this important. The way the scientific method works is you make an observation. You see something. Like I'm looking at the sky and I see these things floating across. So I'm like, what the heck is that?
Right.
You make an observation. You say, where does that come from? What is that? That's your question.
Right.
So you question your observation. Then you go, how many times you've been sitting there, Los, and we've been talking about something, and you go, I bet you if X, Y, and Z was to happen, this would happen.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You're making a hypothesis. That's all. That's a fancy way of saying, hey, man, I'm coming up with an idea.
Right.
That you do all the time.
Right.
You do it all the time. Bobby, you do it all the time. You always go, I wonder if I did this, how would that affect something else that I'm working on? You all do it all the time working on the show.
Right.
Right? Okay. The way we know that what we are saying should happen, the reason we will know if it will happen or not is because we're going to test it.
Right.
And the moment we test whatever it is we say, Bobby says it's going to come on, you say it's going to stay off. When we test it, then if the light comes on, Bobby was right.
Right.
If the light doesn't come on, Los is right.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So now we know, okay, through the process of elimination, I know what doesn't work.
Right. Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. If we do it this way, that light ain't coming on.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. We use these complex, points every day of our lives. And when we hear someone talking about it, like in terms of what a scientific method is, a hypothesis, and all this kind of stuff, you disconnect because you don't know how to make it relative. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Tell it to me a different way.
All right. So after you tested your prediction, then what you do is you tell somebody else to repeat the process. But the only way it works is you have to make sure the conditions in which you're testing it
It's the same.
are the same as well.
Right.
So not only do you need the bowl and the water and the oven, but you need the exact conditions.
Right.
Because if anything changes within the conditions, that changes the entire experiment.
So what I just did, you're looking at me like, man, you're full of shit, man. It didn't work. Like, did you do this,
Exactly.
and that? That's why.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Do you understand what I'm
Right,
saying
right.
now? So now you're like, when the conditions aren't repeated, the test isn't repeated.
Right.
Okay?
That's what I was going to say earlier. Like, the only difference that we would get between us knowing that the water's going to boil is the temperature.
Sure.
It might be 500 here, it might be 495
Sure,
there,
exactly.
but the result is still the same. We all know
Exactly.
it's still going to get hot.
Exactly.
You know, but that would be the only difference between those
Exactly.
things. That the temperature was this here, that there, that there, that there. But guess what happened? That fucking water got hot, didn't it?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So yeah, but other than that, that wouldn't be no difference. We know that's going to happen.
So notice how if you right now went to your oven and turned on the fire and you put it on 300, you know what the fire is going to do. You know what it's going to do.
Yep. Gonna warm
If
it up
that
up to
same
300.
if that same stove is across the street and somebody do the same thing, you can say without necessarily seeing their stove, you could say with a fair degree of certainty, hey man, I know what that fire going to do at 300 degrees, right? Okay. As a result of the scientific method and the way we think, we actually, that's how we learn about a lot of things in life. Like, we will, before we can say something is an absolute truth, we'll go, hey man, I have to make sure what I'm about to say is true by putting it to the test. Because you put it to the test, every single part of your life, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your professional life, whether you're trying to learn something new, whether you're trying to remind yourself of something, you use the scientific method every single day of your life in some form or fashion. The problem is, when you say you want to test the wind, have you ever seen the wind?
Nope. Not that I know of.
Me neither.
Unless when shit moves, I know that's the wind hitting it to make it move.
But you can't
I don't
see it.
You know. Only other time you see it was when there's stuff in it.
Absolutely.
But if there's nothing in it, you just feel it. You don't see it.
What happens when wind hits you at a certain speed?
You know, you feel it. You might, depending on the speed, you might knock you the fuck over. You know, it's like a force hitting you, depending on the strength. You know, I mean, most of the time, you know, whatever you have on is flapping, so you know it's pretty strong wind. You know, you can feel it on you. Your hair blowing and shit, but you don't see that shit.
What about gravity? When's the last time you seen gravity, Bob?
You don't see that shit either.
When I fall.
Oh, you felt it. Did you feel gravity or did you feel the results of it?
Right.
Notice how we talk about wind, gravity. One of the ultimate strongest force in the universe, but these are scientific terms we're throwing around.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that science only dealt with what it could taste, touch, smell, measure, record. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because science says that this actually is real. This is like when they say a cloud is real. But if you ask them about wind, they've never seen wind. You can't control, well, you can control wind. You can't, how can I say, show wind. You can only feel the effects of it. Mm-hmm. But I thought in order for you to prove that something is real, you had to actually measure that, record that thing. Okay, in other words, I know I'm confusing y'all. In other words, we 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 never we never we've never seen gravity. You can feel gravity, but we talk about it as if it's a physical, real thing, but we've never touched it.
That's because we feel it.
We've never touched it. You may feel the effects of it, which brings me to my point. If you never see and touch wind, you feel the effects from it. If you never see and touch gravity, but you feel the effects of it, then that means that whatever you're saying these things are, you're not measuring that. You're looking at that's effect on something else.
Right.
So I'm not measuring gravity. I'm only measuring what happens
Gravity
to
does.
something else.
Right.
But I never touched gravity.
Right.
I never touched wind. So, but you never seen it.
Right.
Hey, on Easter, so you never seen it. But you believe
the
in
only
it.
way you see it is when something's in it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Like, which is still the effects. The effects of wind that picked up all them little pieces of paper.
You
And
now
that's what
see.
you see.
You understand what I'm saying? You now see.
You know?
And now they have this thing dark matter out now.
Right.
They're having the same problem with that. And physics says dark matter is a reality. Yes, but we don't know what it looks like and what it does.
Now, would a tornado count as I see wind?
Yes.
Because I see
Absolutely.
it now, or
That's all you're looking at.
Wind because it's sucking up the
You're
ground.
looking at, yeah. So when you see a tornado, you don't see a tornado, the wind. You're only looking at what the wind is doing, and that's all
tornado
to make the tornado.
Right.
I see it every day in trees. It's the trees are
Oh,
moving.
that's what they named it.
What do you mean?
The tornado. They say it's when it picks up trash and debris and makes it.
And trailer parks
Sure.
and shit.
Sure, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
that's the wind doing it.
It's that stuff. Exactly.
Yes, that's the
Exactly.
wind that's doing it.
But if you ask, hey man, but what is wind? How could we answer? Now we're gonna start talking about molecules in the air and all that kind of stuff that we still ain't seen. But we're feeling the effects of it, right?
So you feel that shit hitting your head? That's wind.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my whole question, the reason I went through that whole long, confusing, boring spiel was because aren't you at the end of the day, in the name of science, still doing the same thing that religion is? You're not connected to something directly. You feel its effect.
Right.
And therefore you believe in it. You don't have to test religion.
Right.
The reason why religion gets such a bad name is because we're praying to this spooky God in the sky that we've never seen, nothing like that. You with me?
Right. Sure.
Okay. But you all have never touched wind nor gravity, but you feel the effects from it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still one step removed from what you're saying. This wind or gravity is. You only can deal with the effects. You can't deal with it directly, but you're affected by it. I don't see how they would disagree to say we can't see God or and whether it's Buddhist, whether you whatever Hinduist, whatever. I don't understand how they don't make the connection that people that have a faith, they are affected by something invisible.
Right.
There's something invisible going on that's affecting us on the physical world. And that's why I'm a Christian. That's why I'm a Buddhist. That's why I'm a Hinduist. I have some connection to this invisible world or what have you, because I've been affected by it. I've gone into prison and came out a Hinduist. I went in for killing 20 people. I got out of prison, wouldn't hurt a fly.
Right.
I went into jail and I was a thief. I came out and I was a totally reformed individual as a result of things taught in this spiritual world, because I was affected by it. Right? But that's still a belief.
Right.
Okay, how is that different from the part where the scientist says, hey man, I don't know what gravity is, we can like put numbers to it and all of that, but we can't tell you what it is. I don't understand why they would have a hard time with grappling with the same thing that religion, people that believe in religion does. I don't see how they dismiss that.
Could it be because, you know, you're telling me that this was created by this one person, but my tests tell me that this can be created anywhere and that person's not there.
Sure.
And that's why, you know,
Absolutely.
I see it that way. Or it's
Absolutely.
like, yo, that's only two things, so that don't count.
Los, I was explaining this.
Everything else we can
Los,
show you, but not them two things. That shit don't count.
I was explaining this to someone, and I hope I hope I didn't go too deep. I was explaining this to someone. They didn't understand why they took religion out of, you know, the art, science, all that kind of stuff. And if you read like the old 1700 books, a lot of your scientists, if not all of them, they have reverend in front of their name. So a lot of them were clergy and they were, you know, scholars. All right. So here we got that whole religion, belief system, scientific thing kind of like coexisting, right? The reason they brought God out of science, and they're absolutely correct, because what they said was, when I get ready to put this bowl of water to a certain degree, and I want to see something happen, whether I believe in God or not has no effect on the experiment itself.
Right.
That is very that is very important to understand.
Right.
Like, that doesn't mean that science hates religion.
Right.
I'm only saying, hey, if we're going to split hairs, then how different are y'all really? That's really my point.
Right.
That's really my point.
Not too much of a difference.
Not too much of a difference at the end of the day. Yeah, you may test it, but your starting point,
right,
is still an act of faith.
Right. Right.
Your starting point. Their end point in religion is an act of faith.
Right.
You just started the same thing at different positions. My religion led to faith. A scientist, if I want to test gravity, I started from the premise of faith because I never could touch wind.
Hoping that this shit works.
I could never touch gravity. You understand what I'm saying? And every time I put a certain set of conditions in, weird things start happening to our bodies. You understand what I'm saying? If it goes so fast, if I speed up this thing right here so far, I'm gonna have some wind coming off of this, and it's gonna knock you down.
Right. Right.
You understand? So that's the hope. But they still never touched it. But they're controlling it. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I mean, because it is true. I mean, you've never seen that. They've never seen that.
They've never seen it.
About. They feel them. You feel it. So it's kind of the same shit.
It's
feel this has nothing to do with it. So this experiment is gonna work out with people. Believe it or not, but you have the say with the premise to say this is gonna work out this way.
Mhm.
And this outcome.
You have a higher degree of certainty. Absolutely.
It's the same thing where they're like, whether I believe in God or not, I'm gonna feel that wind no matter what.
So
I'm gonna feel gravity. I'm gonna feel the effects of it, whether I believe or not. This is gonna happen
right.
anyway.
That's right. That's right.
So
That's right.
In that realm where
Right, Los.
it's gonna happen anyway.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I always used to wonder, you know what, the wind. Okay, you know, I understand how that shit works, but like, say that hard wind we had a couple of months ago, does that go on to somewhere else, or where does it come from? Where does it start?
I know, right? I know what you're asking. I know what
If
you're
it
asking.
can't get out of the ball,
Right.
so that means the same wind just keeps going around and around and around, and
I think it
keeps
just
going
turns
around.
to different weather patterns.
Yeah, so it's like, so where it starts, you know? What was the first? And that shit just stayed in there all over the place and shit, you know? Or is it because of the different pressures and shit that makes it push that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, so
Like
science will break
atmospheric
that
pressure and all of that.
In other words, science will break
absolutely.
that down to why.
Oh,
This
yeah,
ain't got nothing
absolutely.
to do with God was mad at y'all and he wanted that tornado to rip
That's
up
exactly
your goddamn
what.
streets.
That's exactly
You know,
why.
no, because
right.
without God, guess
Right.
what? This shit's gonna come
Right.
down and get your goddamn trailers anyway.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I
Right.
can see where it's like that. In certain parts, yeah, they have to be where I just hope this shit works. Let's see what happens. Let's test it.
You know, interesting enough, you know, science is still trying to come up with an answer because they have no idea because how life began. They know that we, or at least they state that we came from the single cell organism, and that single cell organism is so many billions of years. I think the whole Earth is like 5 billion. That single cell organism is, about maybe 2-3 billion years later. But they never could answer the question. Like, we know life is here. We know this. We're alive. We know, dinosaurs was here. All that kind of stuff. But when you look at human evolution and you look at animals' evolutions and you look at plants and all of that, they all go back to this single cell way back in time. And they cannot explain when that single cell was here, how it went from rocks, water, whatever
we came alive,
inanimate things.
Right.
And we have this blue.
All of a sudden, this shit just popped up, and it's how things breathe and shit.
And they're asking the scientific community, they're actively working on this. Like, how did that happen?
Right. Like the Big Bang. It was there was nothing there, and it boop, it just happened. So that's how they see that. That makes no sense. Like, so something comes from nothing.
Like God, and nothing and
So they haven't been able to figure that one out.
Bacteria, whatever.
They can't explain it.
DNA started multiplying. So
That's the point I wanted to make. That's why I took y'all on the long roller coaster. Now you understand how profound that is.
Yeah. But we know we're here. We know we're alive. We don't know where the fuck we came from, but hey. just like the Big Bang.
In the water.
That's like the Big Bang, how they said it was nothing there, and all of a sudden, boom, you got this universe, and everything that's there now happened at that moment.
That's right.
Like, okay, if you say that, if you say so.
Ain't that how it go? One more time.
Esther says God is the source of all sin.
Thank you, Anna. Absolutely.
Easter.
God is everything. God is everything. But yeah, man. But that's not. I hope y'all don't think that I was really just like taking a dump on science. Science is a method. It's not a belief system in terms of it being like a system of unified, ways of thinking or what have you, behavior, prescription for life. Science never, ever wants to take the place of that. It's only a method. It's a way of thinking. That's all. Versus a religion would be a way of living.
In the science, though.
Mm-hmm.
But some people believe in that.
Oh, absolutely. But that's why, like, the people that believe in science like that, they usually live their lives according to, like, what I can taste, touch, smell, hear, feel. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they kind of like, if I can't see it or whatever, it ain't.
La.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I deal with the here and now. You know what I'm saying?
If I can't see that shit, then it's la.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's necessary. But I appreciate y'all, man, and coming along this ride with me, man. It's I thought it was important that we talk about that, because a lot of times when we throw around these terms like, science or science says or science this or whatever, do you really know what you're saying?
Numbers don't lie.
You know what I mean? Do you really know what you're saying? Numbers don't lie, but you can't skew them.
Right?
You can't skew them. So, but that's for another day. Yeah, thank y'all so much, man. For
besides, we have shit else to talk about today anyway.
Absolutely.
But it was interesting.
Thank you.
Because that is a thing that's always versus science and religion. Science is always back and forth, and so that's something to talk about, right? That was interesting.
It's we're going to see more of that, because we're in this technological era where like the internet is booming off, and the computer ain't never going back into the bottle. That genie ain't never going back into the bottle, and we ain't gonna become nothing. All we're gonna do is become more and more technology based and less faith based. We're gonna be, just because of our way of thinking. You know what I mean? Right. So that's gonna happen. I just hope we don't lose our soul in the process.
We're gonna go right back to that one single organism. We're all gonna be the same. Bloop. We're all gonna be blooping.
All I want to know is how we got from that rock to that bloop. I believe. Tell me that. Yeah, man.
Star Trek.
You know, yep, where everybody's the same. No matter who
How
you
did we get
are,
there?
make a rock into
Your friend say to me, how did we get there?
Hey.
How did we get from the
Hey,
couch?
you know. Oh, Wednesday, man, we got a returning guest. Michael Horn from Sweet Tooth Cheesecake is gonna be joining us, man. What's up, Mike? We hope you watching, man. Yeah, we hope you watching, brother Mike, man. We can't wait to have you on Wednesday if you watching, my brother. Absolutely. And bring some of that cheesecake. For real.
right? Some slices.
Bring that. Bring that. You may want to be here for that one.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Bring some mini bites.
I'm a mini bite that cheesecake up. I'm gonna take mini bites.
Different flavors.
But yeah, man, I'm good.
So make sure y'all bring your cash.
Right.
$7 a slice.
Right. It's worth it too.
Man,
It's
gotta
worth
make his money.
Absolutely.
That shit was the bomb too. I wanted for that banana pudding. That shit was bomb.
That's what's up.
That was good. The Holly Berry was good.
That's what's up. Yeah, y'all enjoyed.
I don't know if I can do the Grace Jones. All that chocolate, I can't do all that. I don't like chocolate cake, no matter what. Yeah. So that'll be a good show. Hopefully
Absolutely.
tune in for that. Make sure y'all check us out then. And don't forget tomorrow, Taboo Tuesday is a really good show, and then we'll see you back on Wednesday. That's about all we got, right?
Absolutely.
I'm Brother Los.
I'm Brother Ron.
Brother Black Hand.
And our studio audience.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. There you go. We are the Daily Smoke, and we're out. Peace.
Peace.